So I recently did a review on this Recover Tactical S Pro stabilizer kit for my Walther PDP Pro. Well, I had so much fun doing that review, and I liked that kit so much, that I decided to pick up the Recover Tactical 2021 stabilizer kit for my Glock 40. Let's check it out. Now, if you decide to get this 2021 kit from Recover Tactical, this is the box that it's going to come in. And it also comes with an instruction manual that is very detailed, just like the one that came with the S Pro kit, which makes it a lot simpler on you to get this thing up and running and get out to the range and have fun. Now, I've already shot all the range footage for this video, so obviously I've already had this put together. But I am going to bring a picture up on the screen so you can see what all it comes with in the box. And once you get it all put together, it's going to look like this with the brace folded, and like this with the brace extended. Now, just like the S Pro, as soon as I got this to the range, I was having an absolute blast with this kit. The Glock 40 is one of my favorite guns in my collection. It's just a super cool gun with the long slide on it, the 6-inch barrel, and being chambered in 10mm. It's just a super cool pistol to have in your collection. And once you have the stabilizer kit on it, you have more points of contact, a lot more stability, and it just makes shooting that 10mm round even more enjoyable. So let's start talking about this kit and the different variations that it comes in. So I've got the Glock 40 here, and if you look on the back of this, this has a charging handle on it, which comes in the kit. And if you look on the back of the Glock 40 and the Gen 4, you do have some serrations here on the back. And basically this is a two-piece design. You lock your slide to the back, you've got the bottom half, and the top half comes down from the top, and then you have two nuts and two bolts here to tie this all together, and this is going to act as your charging handle. Now, being that I have the Gideon Optics Granite MOS on here, this is the charging handle I have to use. So your next question is, well, what if I don't have an optic on my Glock 40 or my Glock 20 or Glock 21? Well, then they have this charging handle, which comes in the kit to use if you're running a gun without an optic. So now let's talk about the stabilizer kit itself. Now, there are different variations that you can buy this with. If you buy the basic kit, you're basically getting this stabilizer, your charging handles, and a bolt and a nut that goes right here, and I'm going to explain that to you in a second. So if you decide to just go with the basic kit, this is what you're going to get. Now, I want to talk about this. So in order to put your Glock 40 in here, which I'm not going to be able to show you how to do it, but you do have to fold the brace into the closed position, and this just opens up like that. Now I want to go back to that nut and bolt that I was just talking about. If you do not put that bolt in here, this thing's just going to swing open, and your Glock is going to fall right out of this kit. And that's going to lead into this part right here, which comes in the more expensive kit that comes with everything. So if you look here, we have some 1913 rail right here. And this basically just slides on to here, like that. And now the pistol is locked in to the stabilizer kit. And this is also where your thumb ledge is, and you do have that on both sides. And this is your angled foregrip with your built-in mag carrier, and this one works with the Glock 20, 21, and 40 magazines. So it's going to work with either the 10 mil mags or the 45 mags. And if you look here on the bottom of the part that I just showed you that locks this all together, you have some more 1913 rail. And if you look right here, you have a push button. You push this in, you're going to slide it from the front to the back onto your 1913 rail. And that is what it looks like when it's all together. Now the next question that's probably going to get asked, well, that's a lot of stuff that I have to take off in order to pull my Glock out of the kit. But it's not. So if we go back to the first part I showed you, you have a button right here. You push that button in, you pull forward, and this whole thing will come off as one piece, and you're ready to remove your Glock from the stabilizer kit. So let's start talking about my shooting experience with my Glock 40 and this Recover Tactical stabilizer kit. Having something like this just gives you a lot of points of contact. You've got the thumb ledges out here on the front. You have your mag in your gun, and you also have your spare mag right here. Super easy to do mag changes. And what's super cool is the fact that I'm able to carry of 10 millimeter on here. Now, if we look right here, we do have some 1913 rail, and we have that on both sides. So you can mount a light to this, a laser, whatever you want. And when this thing is folded up, it is super compact. It's pretty much going to fit in any backpack, bag, messenger bag, whatever you carry. You will not have any problems putting this in any of those types of bags. So let's start talking about the pros and cons of this kit. We're going to go ahead and do the cons first because we've already covered a lot of the pros and why I like this so much. And my first con is going to go back to the S Pro kit, because a lot of people in the comments and a lot of people that watch the Instagram videos and the pictures, they were asking why was I running two optics, which I explained all that in that video. I'm not going to go over that again. But one of the biggest reasons I have the second optic on here is because when this thing is deployed, if I'm trying to use the Holosun 509T that I have mounted on my PDP Pro, and I bring it up, look how far down out of my eyesight that optic is, which means I'd have to bring it up like this, which means I'm not going to be using the stabilizer on here. That's why this optic's on here. But in that video, I told you here in the studio, when I brought the Glock 40 up with the 2021 kit, this was right where I needed it to be. Well, that didn't seem to be the case once I got to the range. The Granite from Gideon Optics comes in two different versions. They have the RMR version of this. They also have the MOS version. This is the MOS version, which means this optic mounts directly to the slide of my Glock 40, which in turn puts the optic a little lower, which is a good thing when you're using this optic strictly on the pistol. But with this brace kit, it's not working too well. So basically what's happening here, when I bring up the Glock 40, I'm kind of looking right at the very top of the optic. So basically right here on the housing. So the optic needs to be a little higher. So I was struggling a little bit with this, as you could see, like when I was shooting those 10-shot groups, because normally with this Glock 40, it's super accurate with the longer barrel, and I shoot it very well, and I normally can get better groups than that. But this just kind of had me thrown off. So what I'm going to do to combat that problem is this piece here that our angled foregrip and mag carrier mount to. They make this with a built-in optic mount, which is pretty much going to set it up just like my S Pro, where I can add a second optic and it's going to be right where I need it. Now, my second and last con with this is the actual brace itself. Being that this is chambered in 10 millimeter, and it's also a Glock 40, which has this very long, super heavy slide on it, reciprocating back and forth, the brace tends to flex. So every time you pull the trigger, it kind of just bounces a little bit. Where with the S Pro, this thing is super rigid and I don't have that issue. But also something that is contributing to that is the fact that the PDP Pro is chambered in 9mm. If I had a 10mm in here, it could be a little different. But the brace system on the S Pro just works a little better than the 2021 kit. But I think a lot that has to do with that is the fact that when this comes back, it kind of slopes down a little bit and it just causes that flex. And one other thing I want to mention, just to save you some frustration if you do decide to get this, I did take the large back strap off, which kind of has that extra beaver tail back here. If that is in here, it will not work with this kit. So I do believe I went back to the medium size back strap. So you're going to have to use the medium or small with this kit. But if you are using that large back strap on your Glock 40, it's definitely not going to work. I sat and fought that for about 10 or 15 minutes before I realized what I was doing wrong. So I just want to throw that in there to help you out. So the question is, do I recommend this Recover Tactical 2021 stabilizer kit? Absolutely. This thing is so much fun. One nice thing about this kit, especially if you decide to not get all the extras that I got, this comes in for 99 beans. Hard to beat. If you want all the extra accessories that I have on here, that's going to bump it up to $199. Going to be a little cheaper and maybe a better option for you than going with the S Pro. We already talked about how compact it is. You can carry an extra mag. There's all kinds of benefits to having something like this. And one thing we haven't talked about is reliability. Now, the Glock 40 has never not been reliable. It doesn't matter what factory ammo I run in it. All of my reloads run great in this. Never had any issues. And adding this stabilizer kit, it didn't cause any issues at all. This thing ran flawless all day. But all in all, this is another great product from Recover Tactical. I absolutely love that S Pro kit. And I love the hell out of this one too. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.